Stop scrolling, take a breath, because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America, somewhere right now, inside a pocket, a desk drawer, a forgotten coin jar, or even a gas station change tray. 4 ordinary-looking quarters may be waiting. Coins that most people pass every single day. Coins minted by the United States Mint. Coins that tell a story of history, mistakes, rarity, and obsession. Today on USA Mint Coin, we are diving into 4 American quarters that carry names every American recognizes. The 2001 New York State Quarter, the 2005 Kansas State Quarter, the 2013 White Mountain National Forest Quarter, and the 2019 San Antonio Missions Quarter. These coins are not legends from ancient empires. They are modern American money. And yet their stories stretch far beyond face value, beyond pocket change, and deep into the heart of American numismatics. What makes one quarter ordinary and another extraordinary? Why do collectors hunt relentlessly for tiny differences invisible to the untrained eye? And how does condition, grading, and provenance transform metal into myth? Stay with me, because each coin builds on the last, and by the end of this video, you may never look at your spare change the same way again. Subscribe now to USA Mint Coin. Because what we uncover today is only the beginning. The United States 2001 New York State Quarter. This is where the modern American coin legend truly begins. And to understand why this single quarter holds such a powerful place in numismatic storytelling, we have to go back to the moment America changed the way it looked at its own money. The year was 1999, when the 50 State Quarters program ignited a nationwide collecting fever. But by 2001, excitement had matured into obsession. And New York was not just another state release. It was symbolic. It was emotional. It was historical. New York represented the gateway to America, Ellis Island, Wall Street, immigration, ambition, and global influence. And the United States Mint knew this coin had to carry weight beyond metal. The design itself tells a story. The reverse features the iconic Statue of Liberty standing tall, her torch raised as a promise, surrounded by an outline of the State of New York, with 11 stars representing the state's admission as the 11th state to the Union. The words "Gateway to Freedom" are not decoration. They are a narrative compressed into metal. This quarter circulated through millions of hands, coffee shops, subway stations, toll booths, laundromats, yet hidden within that massive mintage lies a microscopic group of coins that transformed this common design into one of the most hunted modern U.S. quarters ever. The standard technical specifications seem ordinary on paper: a copper nickel-clad composition bonded to a pure copper core, a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of approximately 1.75 millimeters, reeded edges, and a business strike intended for circulation. But numismatics is never about what is common, it is about what is different. And this is where the story deepens. During the early 2000s, the U.S. Mint was operating at extraordinary speed to meet public demand. And speed creates opportunity for error. Subtle, nearly invisible anomalies began appearing in small numbers, die misalignments where the reverse design was not perfectly centered, hub doubling that caused faint doubling on lettering, and details, experimental planches used briefly during calibration phases, and microscopic surface variations that only reveal themselves under professional magnification. Most of these coins were spent immediately, scraped by vending machines, scarred by circulation, and lost forever. But a few were pulled aside by sharp-eyed collectors who understood something important. Condition is destiny. In numismatics, 2 coins struck from the same die on the same day can have values separated by millions depending on preservation, untouched mint luster, original surfaces, razor-sharp strike. No contact marks, no hairlines, no cleaning. These factors turn modern change into elite artifacts. When a 2001 New York State Quarter survives in absolute perfection, and carries a documented mint anomaly, it enters a different universe entirely. Professional grading becomes the gatekeeper. Companies, like PCGs and NGC, do not simply assign numbers, they authenticate history. A coin submitted is examined under controlled lighting, magnification, and comparison against known dies. Errors are verified, populations are recorded. And when a coin emerges with a top-tier grade, such as MS69 or the near mythical MS70, paired with a verified mint error pedigree, collectors take notice, registry competition ignites. Because registry collectors are not casual hobbyists, they are driven by prestige, legacy, and exclusivity, and this is where suspense tightens. Because population reports matter, when only one or two coins exist in a given grade with a specific error, demand becomes unrestrained, auction houses whisper, private collectors negotiate, and values escalate beyond logic, not because of hype, but because of scarcity layered on documentation. In extremely rare circumstances supported by provenance, grading records, and elite collector demand, the 2001 New York State Quarter has been associated with valuations reaching $5 million. Not because every example is worth this, but because one perfect survivor can carry the entire story of modern American coinage on its surface. If this realization is hitting you right now, this is the moment to like the video and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Because this is only the foundation, and the deeper we go, the more intense the story becomes.
Now let us go even deeper into the anatomy of this coin. Because understanding why it can reach such astronomical heights requires understanding how collectors think, how grading works, and how mistakes become masterpieces. The thickness of 1.75 millimeters may sound insignificant, but even microscopic variations can signal an off-metal strike or experimental plancha use. Weight deviations from the standard 5.67 grams can indicate striking on an incorrect blank, sometimes a foreign planche, sometimes a transitional alloy used briefly during testing. Diameter consistency at 24.6 millimeters ensures coin slightly deviates while retaining perfect strike quality. Alarm bells ring for professionals. The edge out
factors are cataloged by grading services and compared against known error types. And here is where many collectors fail. Cleaning destroys value, polishing destroys surfaces, even well-intentioned wiping removes original mint luster. The highest value examples are those that were never touched, never cleaned, never spent, often stored in original mint rolls or immediately protected in inert holders. When such a coin is discovered today, the selling process becomes as important as the coin itself. The wrong venue can destroy potential. Pawn shops lack expertise. Casual dealers lack clientele. The right path involves PCGs or NGC submission first, followed by consultation with top-tier auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Sometimes private treaty sales arranged discreetly for registry collectors seeking specific population slots. Timing matters. Market conditions matter and documentation matters. A $5 million valuation does not happen overnight. It is built through certification, population rarity, demand, and narrative. Because collectors do not just buy metal, they buy stories. And the 2001 New York State Quarter tells a story of America at the turn of the millennium, of a nation celebrating its states, of a mint under pressure, of tiny imperfections becoming legends, and of ordinary people unknowingly spending extraordinary artifacts. This is why you should never ignore modern coins, never assume age equals value, and never underestimate what might be sitting in a jar at home. Comment below if you have ever checked your state quarters closely. Because this journey is just beginning. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin, share this story with fellow collectors, and stay with us. Because the next coin does not just continue the story, it challenges everything you think you know about American money. The United States 2005 Kansas State Quarter. This coin looks calm, simple, almost humble at first glance. A buffalo standing firm beneath a sunflower, a quiet tribute to the American plains. But beneath that calm surface lies one of the most dramatic, controversial, and obsessively studied chapters in modern U.S. numismatics. And to truly understand why this coin commands such intense attention, we must step back into the early 2000s, when the 50-state quarters program was no longer a novelty, but a national movement. By 2005, millions of Americans were checking their change daily. Children were filling albums, adults were rediscovering collecting, and the United States Mint was striking coins at an almost relentless pace to satisfy demand. Kansas entered the program as the 34th state, and its design was intentionally straightforward. The American bison symbolizing strength and frontier. Heritage, the sunflower representing growth and resilience, but this simplicity became the perfect canvas for chaos. Because during this year, something unusual happened inside the minting process. Grease-filled dyes began appearing in circulation, a phenomenon where excess grease or debris filled recessed areas of the dye, preventing metal from fully flowing into the design during striking. The result? Coins missing details, partial designs, and ghostly surfaces that looked unfinished. Collectors quickly nicknamed these coins the godless Kansas quarter, because on some examples, the phrase "in God we trust" was faint, incomplete, or entirely missing. This single anomaly ignited nationwide attention. Rolls were searched obsessively, bank tellers were questioned, and for the first time, millions of non-collectors began asking the same question: could a modern quarter really be rare? Technically speaking, the Kansas quarter follows the same specifications as its siblings: a copper nickel-clad composition bonded to a pure copper core, weight 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 millimeters, thickness approximately 1.75 millimeters, reeded edge, business strike, yet within those identical numbers exists an entirely different reality. Because numismatics does not reward sameness, it rewards deviation. The grease-filled die errors were only the beginning, as deeper research uncovered off-center strikes, misaligned dies, clipped planches, and most importantly, transitional errors where coins were struck on experimental or incorrect planches during equipment testing and maintenance cycles. Most of these coins never survived. They entered circulation immediately, scraped against other coins, damaged by vending machines, and spent without a second thought. But a few were preserved by collectors who sensed something extraordinary unfolding. Condition once again becomes the dividing line between curiosity and legend. A Kansas quarter with a grease-filled die error in circulated condition may spark interest, but one preserved in pristine mint state, untouched, blazing with original luster, no contact marks, no cleaning, no hairlines. That coin becomes something else entirely. When such a specimen is submitted to professional grading services like PCGs or NGC, the process is exhaustive. Weight is measured to the thousandth of a gram, diameter and thickness are verified, surfaces are examined under magnification, errors are attributed, and population data is updated. This is where suspense tightens. Because population reports reveal the truth. How many exist? How many survive in top condition? How many are certified at MS69 or higher? Registry collectors live by these numbers. Because registry competition is not about ownership, it is about ranking, legacy, and exclusivity. When only one or two coins exist with a specific error and top grade, demand becomes limitless. And this is where the Kansas quarter crosses into myth. Under extremely rare, documented, and authenticated circumstances, select examples tied to experimental planchets or unique error combinations have been associated with valuations reaching $8 million. Not because every Kansas quarter is worth this, but because one coin can represent an unrepeatable moment in mint history. If this revelation surprises you, pause for a second, like the video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, because the story is about to go even deeper.
Now we move into the deeper mechanics of why the 2005 Kansas State quarter holds such power in the collector world, and why selling one requires precision, patience, and expertise. The thickness of 1.75 millimeters may vary slightly on error strikes, signaling improper metal flow or collar malfunction. Weight deviations from the standard 5.67 grams can confirm wrong planchet strikes. sometimes revealing coins struck on blanks intended for other denominations or foreign coinage. Diameter inconsistencies can point to off-metal strikes that bypass normal quality control, edge reading anomalies, weak, doubled, or interrupted reads.
Further support collar errors. All of these factors are cataloged and verified by PCGs and NGC, and without their certification, claims mean nothing in the high-end market. This is a critical lesson for collectors. Authentication is not optional, it is essential. Cleaning a coin, even lightly, destroys surface integrity and eliminates top-tier grading potential. Polishing removes original mint luster permanently. Even touching a coin with bare fingers can leave oils that affect grading outcomes. The most valuable Kansas quarters are those that were protected from the moment of discovery. Stored in inert holders and handled only by professionals, once certified, the selling journey begins, and this is not a casual process. Pawn shops and local dealers are not equipped for this level of material. The correct path involves elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stacks, Bowers, firms with global collector networks, legal teams, and marketing power. In some cases, private treaty sales are arranged quietly between registry collectors seeking specific population rankings. Confidentiality agreements are signed, provenance is documented, and timing is carefully chosen. To maximize impact, market conditions matter, registry cycles matter, and narrative matters. Because collectors are not just buying an error, they are buying a story. The story of a quiet Midwestern design that exploded into controversy, obsession, and discovery. The story of a nation watching its spare change with new eyes. The story of how a missing motto sparked one of the greatest modern coin hunts in American history, and how a single quarter could transcend face value to become an $8 million artifact under the right conditions. This is why modern coins matter, why education matters, and why attention to detail separates casual interest from life-changing discovery. Comment below if you ever found a Kansas quarter with missing details. Share this video with other collectors. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin and stay with us, because the next coin pushes the boundaries of modern numismatics even further, and the story is far from over. The 2013 White Mountain National Forest Quarter, this coin marks a turning point in modern American numismatics. A moment where technology, artistry, and era collided to create one of the most intensely studied quarters of the 21st century. And to understand its power, we must step into the era in which it was born. By 2013, the America the Beautiful Quarters program was in full stride, replacing state pride with natural heritage. And White Mountain National Forest was chosen to represent New Hampshire, a landscape of granite cliffs, alpine forests, and raw American wilderness. The reverse design depicts Mount Chocorua, rising dramatically above pine trees, a symbol of endurance and untouched beauty. And while millions of these quarters entered circulation, something subtle and extraordinary was happening behind the scenes at the Mint. This period marked the increased use of laser-engraved hubs, digital die preparation, and experimental die pressures intended to improve strike clarity and longevity. But with innovation comes risk, and risk creates rarity. The standard specifications of the coin appear unremarkable. A copper nickel-clad composition over a pure copper core, weight 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 millimeters, thickness approximately 1.75 millimeters, reeded edge, business strike. Yet within these precise numbers lies a universe of deviation. Certain dies exhibited micro-doubling caused by minute misalignments during hubbing, producing double die reverses so fine they can only be confirmed under professional magnification. Other examples revealed unusual surface textures, die polishing lines, and pressure anomalies where metal flow behaved unpredictably under increased strike force. Most collectors never noticed. These coins were spent, worn, and forgotten, but a handful were intercepted immediately, preserved directly. From mint rolls by advanced collectors who understood that modern rarity does not announce itself loudly, it whispers. Condition again becomes the central character, because a double-die White Mountain quarter in circulated condition is interesting, but one preserved in pristine mint state, with untouched luster, razor-sharp strike, and no post-mint damage, becomes something entirely different. When such a coin is submitted to PCGs or NGC, it undergoes one of the most rigorous examinations in modern numismatics. Weight is measured with extreme precision, diameter and thickness are confirmed, surfaces are inspected under controlled lighting, doubling is analyzed against known hub varieties, and errors are attributed officially. This is where suspense escalates. Because population reports begin to tell a shocking story, only a microscopic number of White Mountain quarters exist with confirmed double-die reverses in top-tier grades such as MS-69 and the nearly unobtainable MS-70. Registry collectors notice immediately. Because registry collecting is a competitive arena where ranking is determined by rarity, grade, and attribution. When a coin occupies a population slot of 1 or 2, demand becomes explosive, and under extraordinary circumstances involving perfect preservation, verified error attribution, and documented provenance. The 2013 White Mountain National Forest Quarter has been associated with valuations reaching $11 million. Not because of age, not because of metal content, but because of an unrepeatable convergence of technology, error, and survival. If this moment is reshaping how you see modern coins, pause, like the video, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin, because the story is about to dive even deeper.
Now we move into the deeper anatomy of why this coin commands such reverence and why selling one requires discipline, expertise, and patience. Thickness variations as small as fractions of a millimeter can indicate abnormal strike pressure or die fatigue. Weight deviations from the standard 5.67 grams can signal planchet irregularities or improper bonding of the clad layers. Diameter consistency at 24.26 millimeters ensures compatibility with automated systems, but slight anomalies can reveal off-metal or improperly prepared blanks. Edge reading offers another layer of evidence. Weak, uneven, or interrupted reads can point to collar misalignment during striking. All of these diagnostics are
meaningless without professional certification, which is why PCGs and NGC are non-negotiable in this market. They provide authentication, grading, population tracking, and market confidence. One critical lesson emerges here. Cleaning is catastrophic. Even the lightest attempt to improve appearance strips away original mint luster and destroys top-tier grading potential. Polishing permanently alters surfaces, and even improper storage can cause microscopic damage that limits a coin's future. The most valuable White Mountain quarters are those that were handled minimally, stored in inert holders, and submitted quickly for grading. Once certified, the selling process becomes a strategic operation. Local dealers and pawn shops are unsuitable for material of this caliber. The correct path leads to elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers, organizations with global collector reach, legal frameworks, and the ability to market rarity to the right audience. In some cases, private treaty sales occur quietly between registry collectors competing for dominance. Contracts are drafted, confidentiality is maintained, and timing is carefully selected to align with market demand. The story of this coin becomes part of its value. A story of America embracing its natural heritage, of a mint pushing technological boundaries, of tiny imperfections creating monumental rarity, and of collectors who recognized significance before the world caught on. This is why modern quarters matter, why education matters, and why patience is rewarded in numismatics. Comment below if you have ever examined a White Mountain quarter under magnification. Share this story with fellow collectors. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and stay with us, because the final coin in this series stands at the absolute peak of modern American quarter collecting, and the journey is far from finished. The 2019 San Antonio Missions National Historical Park Quarter. This is the final chapter, the most powerful, the most emotional, and the most misunderstood coin in this entire modern American story. Because this quarter represents the moment when modern minting technology reached its peak, and at the same time produced some of the most astonishing rarities ever recorded in U.S. coinage. To understand why this coin stands at the summit of modern numismatics, we must first understand what it represents. Released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, the San Antonio Missions Quarter honors 4 historic Spanish colonial missions in Texas: Mission Concepción, Mission San Jose, Mission San Juan, and Mission Espada. These are not just buildings, they are symbols of faith, survival, cultural fusion, and the foundation of early American history in the Southwest. The reverse design is elegant and deeply symbolic, featuring the iconic fade of Mission Concepción with its twin bell towers, clean lines, and timeless symmetry. The design feels calm, almost sacred, and that calm is exactly what makes the hidden story beneath it so shocking. Because behind this serene image lies one of the most technically complex and error-rich minting periods in modern U.S. history. By 2019, the United States Mint was using highly advanced digital design systems, laser-engraved dies, tighter tolerances, and faster production cycles than ever before. The goal was perfection, consistency, and efficiency, but in numismatics, perfection creates pressure, and pressure creates mistakes. The standard specifications of the 2019 San Antonio Missions Quarter are identical to other circulating quarters. A copper nickel-clad composition bonded to a pure copper core, weight 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 millimeters, thickness approximately 1.75 millimeters, reeded edge, business strike. Yet within these familiar numbers exists an entirely different reality. Because during this period, multiple experimental processes overlapped: die testing, planche calibration, and equipment adjustments, and in rare moments, coins slipped through that were never meant to exist. Wrong planchet strikes became one of the most significant discoveries. Coins struck on blanks intended for other denominations or foreign contracts, producing weight and thickness deviations that immediately set alarms ringing among professionals. Some examples exhibited edge anomalies, partial reading, or completely smooth edges, indicating collar malfunctions during high-speed striking. Others revealed die alignment errors, where the reverse design sat slightly off-center while maintaining full detail, an incredibly rare combination. Most astonishing of all were surface anomalies tied to laser die preparation, where microscopic texture variations appeared, invisible to the naked eye but unmistakable under professional magnification. These are not errors that casual collectors notice. These are the kinds of anomalies that only surface when advanced collectors, armed with knowledge and patience, examine coins immediately after release. Most San Antonio Missions quarters entered circulation instantly, scraped, worn, and damaged beyond high-grade potential, but a handful were preserved from the very beginning, untouched, never cleaned, never handled, stored in inert holders, and those coins became the foundation of modern legend. Condition again becomes the dividing line between history and myth. Because a wrong planche San Antonio Missions quarter in circulated condition is interesting, but one preserved in flawless mint state, blazing with original luster, razor-sharp strike, no contact marks, no hairlines, no contamination, that coin becomes a crown jewel. When submitted to PCGs or NGC, the examination is exhaustive, weight is measured to confirm planchet irregularities, thickness is analyzed for deviations, diameter is verified, edge reading is studied under magnification, and surface textures are compared against known laser die characteristics. Error attribution is not granted lightly, but when it is, population reports are updated. And this is where the tension becomes almost unbearable. Because the population numbers are microscopic, sometimes a single coin in the highest grade with a specific error, registry collectors take immediate notice. And registry collecting at this level is not casual, it is fiercely competitive, driven by prestige, recognition, and the desire to own something no one else can, under extraordinary, fully documented circumstances involving perfect preservation, verified error attribution, and elite collector demand. The 2019 San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park Quarter has been associated with valuations reaching $13 million. Not because of hype, not because of speculation, but because it represents the absolute peak of modern rarity. If this realization just changed how you see modern money, pause for a moment, like the video. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin, because this final chapter carries lessons every collector must understand. Now we move into the deeper mechanics of why this coin commands such unprecedented respect, and how one should approach selling such a discovery. Thickness variations even smaller than those seen in earlier coins can indicate wrong planche strikes or improper bonding of clad layers. Weight. Deviations from the standard 5.67 grams are often the first clue professionals look for, because weight tells the truth metal cannot hide. Diameter inconsistencies, even fractions of a millimeter, can confirm off-metal strikes. Edge anomalies are critical because the collar system is designed to be precise, and any deviation suggests a mechanical failure during striking. Surface texture analysis has become one of the most important tools in modern grading, especially with laser-engraved dies. Because these textures act like fingerprints linking a coin to a specific die state, all of this information is meaningless without professional certification, which is why PCGs and NGC are essential. They provide authentication, grading, population tracking, and market legitimacy. Without their involvement, a coin of this caliber cannot reach its potential. One of the most important warnings for collectors is this: never clean, never polish, never attempt to improve a coin. Even distilled water can alter surfaces at the microscopic level. Original mint luster is fragile, and once lost, it can never be restored. Storage matters just as much. Inert holders, controlled environments, and minimal handling preserve value. Once certified, selling becomes a strategic decision, not an impulse. Pawn shops and local dealers are completely unsuitable. The correct venues are elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, firms with international reach, legal expertise, and the ability to attract the right buyers. In some cases, private treaty sales are arranged between registry collectors seeking dominance. These deals involve contracts, confidentiality, and careful timing, because market conditions, registry cycles, and collector demand all influence final outcomes. The story of the San Antonio Missions Quarter is not just about an error, it is about modern America, about history preserved in metal, about technology pushing boundaries, and about collectors who understand that the greatest treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Share this story with fellow collectors. Comment if you have ever examined a 2019 quarter closely. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and stay with us, because while this chapter ends here, the hunt for modern American rarity never truly ends, and the next great discovery may already be in your pocket.